Shalom and welcome to Mitzvah Torah. This year is entitled, Is There a Mitzvah to Execute a Sinner? In the early morning shir, we are learning Abba Mitzvah's Basin, the 7th Parak Sanhedrin. It's talking about the different death penalties that are enforced by the Beit Din. And a simple question, in the mitzvah, the list of 613 mitzvot, is this listed as a mitzvah to execute a sinner? So believe it or not, there's 4 different approaches. We'll go from the least to the most. The Ramban's understanding of the Bahag is that there is no mitzvah in the 613 mitzvot. Yes, the Beit Din does have to carry out the execution. That's part of the obligation, but it doesn't have a place in the 613 mitzvot. 613 mitzvot are actions that we must do and actions that we must abstain from. Punishments where people go ahead and deserve a punishment, that is part of our system, but not part of the 613 count. That's Ramban Tzaddim Bahag. The Ramban himself holds this one mitzvah from the 613. It's a mitzvah sasei uviataharam mikir becha. You must wipe out evil from the midst of the Jewish people, and therefore, when the Beit Din goes and executes, whether it's from stoning or burning or strangulation or sword, any of those 4 is all under the rubric of uviataharam mikir becha, wiping out evil from our midst. Then you have the next opinion is it's 4 mitzvot on the list of the 613. That's the Rambam. He writes this several places. He writes this in his Shorashim in the 14th Shorash, that there's a separate mitzvah for each one. Then throughout the Sefer Mitzvahs he lists it. In Hilchos Sanhedrin, in his Koteret, he lists it 4 times. That there's one mitzvah of skila, one sreifa, one hereg, one chenek. It's 4 separate mitzvah taseis. And then there's the Rambam's understanding of the Bahag that each time the Beit Din executes for every specific sin. So they do sreifa for this sin, they do sreifa for another sin, sreifa for another sin, they stone for this sin, for that sin. Each time it's a separate mitzvah say. And Rav Sadigon actually has about 71 of the 613 mitzvot are the punishments issued by Beit in the death penalty in each specific case. You have 4 different opinions regarding the count on the 613. From the Ramban's understanding of the Bahag that it's 0, the Ramban himself holds 1, the Rambam holds 4, and then the others, the Bahag according to the Rambam and the Sadigon holds dozens and dozens. A fascinating machlokes. The Maram Shik says the Rambam doesn't like the explanation of the Ramban. He gives a fascinating idea. According to Ramban, it's v'ataharam mikir becha. You wipe out the evil from your midst. So the Maram Shik says, wait a second. This is a mitzvah mem zayin, the Maram Shik. He says, wait a second. A person goes ahead and did avodah zarah. He was warned, don't do it, you're going to get killed. He says, no, I'm going to bow down to the idol. I know I'm going to get killed. I don't care. And then the trial goes on, and by the time he's chayav to be killed and by Beit Din, it's weeks later, and he became a total Baal Tshuva. He said, I was crazy what I did. It's a mistake. I did Tshuva, Gemura. And he's not the same person anymore. He's not the idolater. He's a tzaddik. So the Maram Shik says, wait, Ramban, if your whole purpose is you have to wipe out Ra, evil, Baruch Hashem, the person is not Ra anymore. He's on Tshuva. So it's an interesting idea, the Rambam, and therefore the Rambam did not hold that that's the source. He says each mitzvah is its own separate pasuk, and you have to kill a person. It doesn't matter whether he did shuv or not. We have to kill him. It doesn't matter if he's ra now or he's not ra now. It doesn't make a difference. You may explain the Ramban is saying, listen, maybe he himself has improved, but there's Ra. He did something. There's ripple effects from his actions. He did something horrible. It's known what he did. There's ripple effects on Klal Yisrael. So he himself, Baruch Hashem, did tshuva. But there was Ra. There's ripple effects from the Ra. And then that by going in and killing, that sends a statement to Klal Yisrael. And that is a removal of Ra. Or maybe you could say, yes, he's done tshuva. But the kapara is only when he has mitzvahs based in. That's the first parak in the Hechos Tshuva, only when the Beit Din executes him. So maybe he's done Tshuva, but they can't say the Ra is totally obliterated because till he has Mises based in, there is still something there. He doesn't have atonement. Either way, that's how the 4 opinions are laid out. Then there's one interesting nafkamina. Someone to say that if you say like the Ramban, Uviyatara Mikabecha, the basic umbrella is wiping out evil. And these are 4 different ways to do it. First, the Rambam is 4 independent mitzvot. So someone to say, what happens if The Beit Din cannot go ahead and kill through pushing off the mountain. There's no mount. Whatever the case is, they're limited. All they have is the sword. Okay, that's the only way they can kill. They're low in funds, and they don't have the ability to go ahead and kill in the various 4 different ways of Beit Din. That's all they have. Is there a possibility that they'll go ahead and kill in a different manner than what this person deserves if they cannot do the way the person deserves? Some want to say, according to Rambam, if he's chayiv skila, he has to get stoned, and the other execution is a totally different mitzvah, where there's no connection, and therefore Beis Din has to wait till they have the ability to kill him the way they're supposed to. While according to Ramban, these are all branches of Viyat Hara Mikabecha. So ideally, we have to execute him this way. But let's say you cannot execute him that way for a technical reason. So if you execute him another way, that's all part of the umbrella of Viyat Hara Mikabecha. So those are some points regarding the fascinating topic of execution in halacha by Beis Din. And we have 4 different shitot and how it's organized. And a question on the Ramban in defense of the Ramban regarding Uviyat Hara Mikbecha, and then an amazing nafkamina that comes out, a difference that comes out if you hold like the Ramban, it's an umbrella of Uviyat Hara, or you hold each one as a separate mitzvah. Shalom.